Okay.
Hey y'all.
Chris can't point at anybody.
Hello everyone. I'm just singling up a little. Just a wee bit.
I quite like it when it was on hold, but you know.
Okay. It's had a rough day for office. There was.
I liked it. It's chilly up there.
Nick, you did my job for me. Thank you.
It's my job. You don't really know
You know what I mean.
what's up, Jana.
Thank you for getting your thing rolling.
Yeah, he suspended the rule.
For this week.
For tonight.
I made it an hour.
Like,
No.
I just.
He wants to look at it.
No, but I don't
Big
care.
stacks.
Yeah.
But it's just-
Right.
I have to cheat. Good for you. You know,
I just asked for the food rule.
Oh,
Just some Coke, meatballs,
oh, nice.
veggies, cheese, eat them.
Oh, the week after that. I don't know.
No.
Instagram. It's like the brain logo. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that.
We have a meeting next week.
We have a meeting this Friday.
Oh, I'm not here.
Yeah, that's all these sleeves.
I am.
How do you do this? Or is that today's the anniversary?
All the way through on the other side of the state.
Right now,
I don't, it's a little free charge.
because I thought. Get up there.
Okay, went to school.
Time 7 o'clock, I call this session of the Whitewater Student Government to order. If you're able, please rise alongside me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just so everybody's aware, I want to make this announcement as equitable as possible in case people were skating a little late. There's some food across the hallway. Please be around for roll call and whatnot, but if you'd like, you're more than welcome to eat and bring some auxiliary drinks to this meeting. With that, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Senator Carter.
President.
Senator Genetti.
Present.
Senator Neely.
President.
Senator Lang. Senator Liebert.
Here.
Senator Marty.
Be present.
Senator Majors. Senator Patricus.
Present.
Senator Purnell.
President.
Senator Reibert.
President.
Senator Reyes.
President.
Senator Schmidt. Senator Schrocknagel.
Present.
Senator Thompson. Present. Senator Vanderhyde. Present. Senator Wheaton. Present. Speaker Wilson.
Present. And with that, we move into special order, starting with the appointment of one Drumlin District seat. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for a Drumlin District seat? Going once and twice. Seeing none, with that, we move on to the appointment of one Esker District seat. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an Esker District seat? Going once, going twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 4 off-campus district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an off-campus district seat? Going once, going twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 2 Rock County district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for a Rock County district seat? Going once, going twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move to the appointment of 2 at-large Senate seats. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in running for an at-large Senate seat? Going once, going twice, seeing none, with that, we'll move on to guest speakers, starting with Emma Draper, the interim Title IX coordinator. You can come join us up at the podium, and I believe everybody has one of your handouts already.
Down. It's a link in the email.
He's doing it for you.
Okay.
But,
Do you want it?
yeah, this should work.
Who's doing the present?
Turn the camera so they can see.
That should work for you.
Either way, yeah.
It should work.
We'll try it out. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Draper. If we haven't met yet, fine. And I'm the interim Title IX coordinator here at Whitewater. So really the goal of today's presentation is to give a brief overview of Title IX. That includes staff and definitions of Title IX. It also includes duty to report and how to report a Title IX complaint. Next, we'll cover supporting the complainant, which we'll go over what that means in just a few minutes. And then lastly, we will go over what happens after a report is received. So starting with staffing and definitions. This is our Title IX staff here on campus. Again, my name's Emma Draper. I'm the interim Title IX coordinator. We have Andy Browning, who is the deputy Title IX coordinator for students, Connie Putland, who is the deputy Title IX coordinator for employees, and Carrie Carollo, who is the deputy Title IX coordinator for athletics. And just for time's sake, I'm going to go through these slides fairly quickly because I think I have like 5 or 10 to 15 minutes, including questions, but just know that this presentation is shared and can be accessible after, including the contact information. So really briefly, just going over what Title IX is and kind of the history of Title IX. So in short, it's a federal law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities. And so reading it, it says that no person in the United States shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So Title IX continued. Title IX is also used as a shorthand for a body of federal statutes, regulations, and guidance governing educational institutions with respect to gender equity, sexual misconduct, including the Clery Act and the Violence Against Women's Act. And so the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater is committed to providing a safe and non-discriminatory learning, living, and working environment for all members in the university community. So we view Title IX kind of as an umbrella. And so the different pieces that fall under the Title IX umbrella are dating violence and domestic violence, sexual harassment, retaliation, sexual assault, stalking, equity in athletics, and pregnant and parenting students. And just 2 terms that I wanted to quickly clarify before moving forward. The first one is complainant. So that's any individual who is alleged to be the subject of sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, domestic violence, stalking, or sexual exploitation. And then the respondent is an individual who has been reported to be the perpetrator of sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, domestic violence, stalking, or sexual exploitation. And now I'm going to briefly go over the duty to report and what it means to be a mandated reporter and who are mandated reporters on campus. So all UW-Whitewater employees, both faculty and staff, are considered mandatory reporters and are required to report actual or even suspected sexual misconduct to the Title IX coordinator, as well as certain student employees, such as resident assistants, are also mandated reporters. So duty to report kind of includes these few bullet points in short. A report does not automatically result in an investigation, so that's something good to know moving forward. Also making sure that if you are a mandated reporter, that the student knows you have a duty to report. You can inform them during your conversation, before your conversation, or even after your conversation, just letting them know that you do have a duty to report what was disclosed to you. And then also informing the person or the complainant that someone will reach out to them and explain their options and offer resources. Someone's duty to report, if they are a mandated reporter, is triggered as soon as they become aware of the allegations, regardless of their beliefs if the allegations are true or not. So again, we're not asking anyone to do a deep dive investigative work. If you basically see something or hear something, say something based on that report. And yes, even if someone tells you they do not want a report and you are a mandated reporter, you're still required to report that information. And again, even if you don't know all the relevant information, just report what you know. Some common FAQs. Do I need to report it if it happened off campus? For a mandated reporter, yes. Do I report even if it happened a while ago? Yes. What information do I need to include in my report? Just all the information that was given to you and that you know. What if I am a victim or survivor? Do I still have to report? That's completely up to the victim or survivor. I'll talk about some confidential resources in the next few slides. Confidential resources are employees on campus that are not mandated reporters. That can be a safe space for students who do not want that to be reported. I wasn't given much information. Do I still need to report? Yes. Again, report what you know. What if the student or employee doesn't want me to report? Well, if you're a mandated reporter, you do have to still report. But in the next few slides, I'm going to kind of talk about how to have that conversation with the student to support them, even though you're basically telling them, sorry, I'm reporting it, even though you don't want me to. But first, I'm going to cover where to report. So you can report directly to me. I'm the interim Title IX coordinator. Again, my phone number and contact information and office is included on this slide. There is also an online reporting form as well. How to find that is just our uww.edu/Title IX. I recommend bookmarking this page. This is a helpful page just in general to have our reporting form easily accessible. You can also scroll down and there will be like a report an incident to Title IX. That's where you would find that on our page. And then this is what it looks like if you were to click that report a Title IX incident. This is our sexual misconduct reporting form. So if you see something that looks like this, you're in the right place, and then it'll just ask you to fill in the relevant information, such as the complainant, respondent if known, and things that you may know that have been disclosed to you about the situation that you're reporting. So going over 3 key steps when you are talking with the complainant, or if you do happen to have like a friend, for example, that's disclosed something to you. The first step, the first point to remember is just to offer resources and support. They're going through a difficult time, and so if you can let them know resources available to them in the immediate, that is probably the most helpful thing that they can do in that moment. If you are a mandated reporter, again, notifying the student that it is your duty to report the information to the Title IX office. And then the third step is, again, reporting that information to the Title IX office. And so this is helpful when you are working with a complainant or talking to a complainant and they're not wanting you to report. Just letting them know something along the lines of, I just want you to know that as a university employee that I'm responsible for helping maintain student safety. This means that if you share that an assault has happened, I need to take the steps to inform the trusted people who can help. And then informing them that only the people who need to know will know. It's confidential information. We're not just sharing it with anyone and everyone and anyone. So quickly, 6 things to remember when helping a complainant is just listening. Sometimes all a student would need in that moment is just an open ear, listening, hearing them out, supporting the student. So again, connecting them to resources. We have counseling on campus. We have crisis lines available. And we even have crisis counseling appointments if it's between 8 and 4, Monday through Friday. Don't blame the student or the complainant that you're talking to, and this can be being careful, like with the questions we're asking. So for example, like let's just say a student comes to you and they say, hey, I was sexually assaulted at a party and like there's alcohol involved. Like asking them like, oh, well, how much did you have to drink? Like can kind of be shifting blame towards the student or towards the complainant. And so it's just being mindful in those moments of what questions we're asking. and trying not to, even if it's not our intention, to shift blame to the student. And then letting the student know that they're in control of the situation after it comes to the Title IX office. When I receive a report, which we're gonna go through, I meet with the student primarily just to provide them resources and let them know our process. Again, a report does not initiate an investigation, and I would never initiate an investigation unless that's what the complainant wanted. So that's helpful to know. And then again, in the immediate, if you're talking to a student, maybe something happened to them within the last 10 minutes, hour or two, asking if they need medical attention, just to make sure again that they're safe and that they feel safe on campus. And then lastly, again, informing them your duty to report if you are a mandated reporter on campus. These are the confidential resources that I mentioned earlier. We have the University Health and Counseling Services. That includes all the counselors and all of the medical staff in that office. We have Winter Counseling Services, and then we also have New Beginnings, which is an off-campus resource. I always want to mention Amnesty, because this really encourages or tries to encourage reporting and participation in the process. And so UW-Whitewater maintains a policy of offering parties and witnesses amnesty from minor policy violations, such as underage consumption of alcohol, illicit use of drugs, etc., related to the incident. So again, if you're the reporting party and you were at a party, with drugs or alcohol, and you partook in that, and you're reporting something, like, the university will have amnesty towards you in that situation. So very quickly, I know I'm running out of time, I just wanted to draw your attention. I think there's two handouts that everyone should have. One talks about what happens for students when they're reporting, and one is a faculty and staff, and what happens when they report. So these are helpful pieces that were created by my office just to inform students of the processes that they can take, and then also inform faculty and staff the processes they can take to report sexual misconduct. So how reports come in, they come in through that online form that I just showed you. If someone calls me with that information, I just fill out that online form, and then it's routed to me. I get an email and a text when a report comes in. So even on the weekends, right, I'm checking that, making sure that the campus is safe and that we don't have to send out any notifications if there's any, immediate threat to campus. So upon receiving the report, I will reach out to the student, to the complainant, within 24 to 48 hours. That's the timeline that is in our Chapter 17 statute. And really the goal in that initial outreach is to provide the complainant with information on options, connecting them to resources, and then coordinating supportive services or supportive measures for that student. And again, a student does not need to pursue formal action to access supportive measures or resources. And a student doesn't even need to disclose additional information in order to access supportive services or resources. So when a student comes to me, when a complainant comes to me and they meet with me, I'm not asking them to rehash everything that happened. I'm really just there to inform them and provide them supportive measures. So that's helpful to know if you're working with a student who's not really sure if they want to meet. Just let them know, like, you're not gonna, it's not supposed to be a traumatic experience, right? We're just here to support you. And so again, I think this is my last slide, but my role as a Title IX coordinator is to extend the invitation to meet with the complainant in person, by phone, virtual meeting. I'm easily accessible basically anyway. Provide information on medical services such as the SAN exam, information on counseling, academic support services, change in a student support situation, provide information about university no contact orders or court-issued stay-away orders, provide information on university processes, criminal processes, discuss additional resources and support options, and then also really just be an ongoing point of contact for them as they're navigating what they're wanting to do in terms of next steps. And sometimes next steps for them is just finishing out the semester, finishing out the school year, and I'm there to support them through that decision. I guess very quickly, just privacy versus confidentiality. So we can't promise confidentiality in the Title IX process, right? If we do receive a formal complaint, so the complainant wants to proceed through one of our processes, we do notify the respondent via a letter of allegations, right? So it's just letting them know, hey, this is what is alleged to happen, and then this is how we're gonna move forward with the process. But we obviously do protect privacy to the extent that's possible under law, and information is only shared on a need-to-know basis. So even when we're reaching out to professors in terms of academic accommodations, we're just saying like, hey, due to a unforeseen circumstance, this student is needing this type of academic accommodation. And so it's very not getting into the weeds of the actual situation. And then just helpful tidbits to note, the Title IX investigation outcomes and sanctions. This is for employee, so faculty and staff or student found to have been violated the Title IX sexual misconduct policy by engaging in sexual misconduct can include, but is not limited to, warning, probation, suspension, dismissal, or even termination. So I just like to put that in there just to inform everybody that those are some of the sanctions that happen if someone is found to be responsible. With that, are there any questions immediately that I can answer?
Any
How is
questions,
the-
Senator Martin?
How is the Warhawk community supporting your role as a Title IX coordinator, and has there, that's simple as that.
Yeah. So how is the Warhawk community supporting my role as a Title IX
Yeah.
coordinator? Absolutely. So I recently just started this position about a month ago. And through that transition, I've been meeting with key stakeholders across campus. So I've met with athletics, counseling services, dean of students, and many more, key stakeholders in this space, and just informing them on what I'm doing and how we can kind of support each other throughout our roles on campus.
Deputy Speaker Truist.
Is it true that mandatory reporters are not investigators and you have dedicated staff who that's their whole job?
Yes, that is true. So again, mandated reporters, all we're asking them to do is report something that they've heard or that they've seen. But yes, the Dean of Students office has full-time investigators. So if it does go into an investigation, again, you're relieved of that duty, thankfully. Great question.
Any other questions, President Brett?
Mr. Speaker, can we have the mandated reporters in the room raise their hand?
Yeah, we can. If you're a mandated reporter and you're in the room, please raise your hand. Take note, folks. Any other
She missed
questions?
the last 4 minutes.
Great. Get anything from this.
Yeah.
Senator Schwaffman.
I have a question. So on Canvas, like we all had to take like a course for this. Does that get updated every year?
Like the Canvas course?
Yeah, because I transferred and it was like the same exact scenarios as my last college, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Just answer.
So I think was it a UW system?
Yeah, it was River Falls.
I think it's a system-wide one, so I think it's across the campuses. But I'm not sure if it gets updated, but I can. You don't think
Hasn't
it's
been in a
updated?
while.
Okay.
I mean, I think they look at it as on a rotational, probably
Okay.
every 2 or every 3 years, because it's a purchase service.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, but I can.
did not make it. Yes.
I did not make it, no, but I can definitely look into that, because that, again, we're trying to improve our processes, and with somebody new in the role, right, we can kind of ask questions and try to see if we can get movement, so.
Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Seeing none? Thank you very much, Emma. We appreciate you coming by. Of course, we invite you to watch the rest of shared governance in motion, but otherwise.
Philip has been trained.
Thank you.
Add that
All
on.
right, wonderful. With that, we will move on to the approval of the agenda minutes, starting with the minutes from November 3rd, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Senator Thompson.
Motion to approve.
Second by Senator Carter. Can I get a voice vote? Any opposed? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, the minutes from November 3rd, 2025 have been approved unanimously. With that, we are on to approval for the agenda for November 10th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve? Senator Thompson again.
Motion to approve.
Seconded by Senator Reyes. Can I get a voice vote? Any opposed? Going once, going twice, seeing none. The agenda for November 10th, 2025 is approved unanimously. With that, we're on to student issues and concerns. Are there any student issues and concerns in the gallery? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to reports, starting with external committee reports, of which we have none. So we're on the internal reports, starting with student affairs. Senator Carter, whenever you're ready. As always,
As always.
the floor is yours. As he's moseying on up there, I don't think there's a more apt use of your role as a WSG senator than communicating to folks about not only the university's policy of amnesty through responsible action, but also the one that the law provides you. It is like such an immediate way to save lives if you're ever given that opportunity. Remember that if you're in those kinds of situations, but communicate that to other folks who you know, because it is the kind of thing, like I said, that can change or save lives. So,
Awesome. I'm going to keep this brief tonight, y'all. So the Student Affairs Committee met last Tuesday. We had Associate Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs and Dean of Students Tanya Schmidt stop by, just wanting some feedback from students on the campaign policy for the university. Director Smith also asked us for some feedback, and Dale Penzino wanted our feedback and see what changes to the proposed parking plan. Remember, that's just feedback and suggestions, nothing is set in stone. If you want to see that or you have feedback, please talk to Director Smith. Just please read Director Smith's report tonight as they're not here. And the only thing from Associate Director Rosequist is that she's excited to get started. This was the first meeting she had after being hired. And if you have any questions, direct them to the directors. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
any questions for Senator Carter? Once, or twice, seeing none. Thank you very much, Senator Carter. With that, we'll move on to officer reports, starting with the report of our president, Mr. Douglas Allen Bradley III.
Good evening, friends. You can read what we had last week. This week, a couple big things. We had SPBC, Strategic Planning and Budget Committee. That was this morning. I think it went pretty darn well. We talked a lot about fees. I have lots of notes, so if you want to hear how that meeting went, come speak with me after the meeting and I can fill you all in. Also, I had a meeting tonight at 6 o'clock with the Wisconsin Student Basic Needs Coalition. It's a group that helps educate students about SNAP benefits, as well as how they can get resources, whether that's food, grocery, hygiene, things on campus. So we had a great conversation there. This week on Wednesday, the Chancellor will be meeting with myself and the WSG board to go over our priorities. So we will keep you posted on that. And I meet with Rock Collegium Thursday. So that is think of it as a giant, if you took all of our shared governance groups and you kind of mushed them all into one big group, that is the Rock Collegium over the Rock County campus. And so I will be there as a Whitewater campus representative. And then on Friday, I'm meeting with Tanya Schmidt and some others to help our campus plan to become a voter-friendly campus. The only other thing I will add is tomorrow is Veterans Day. Our friends over at the Student Veteran Alliance have asked me to share some things. So if you have any questions, you can let me know after the meeting. I'll be happy to answer them. But tomorrow there's an exhibit at the Roberta's Art Gallery from 9:45 to 10:45. It's called Fur, Feathers, and Fidelity. It's a military mascot, so I suggest you all check it out. And right at 11 a.m. sharp in the Hamilton Room, following the playing of taps, there will be a ceremony, a Veterans Day ceremony that I as well invite you to all attend. Then on Wednesday, in the University Center, the Veteran Services will have a table. You can write a thank you letter to a UW-Whitewater veteran. The goal is 250 notes. So if you'd like to swing on by during your office hour or whatnot, please write a note or two. As well as today, if anybody knows, there's a birthday today. Anybody know whose birthday it is? Marine Corps, turned 250 years old.
Simplify.
Simplify. Then on Thursday, there is an event at the Rock County campus. If any are interested, it's in the Hyatt Smith Commons from 12 to 12:50. There is a speaker, a Vietnam veteran, who will be talking about the luck of the draw, reflections on my experience in Vietnam. So that should be fun. Looking forward to that. And then Friday, I'm reading these notes here. In between the mall, between the fountain and the university center, there will be different resources for veterans and assisting them with benefits, services, and assistance. Swing on by, show your face. Parliamentarian Rieberg and Senator Carter and I went down. Student Veterans Alliance had a little bowling outing today, so we went down and met some of the students who were part of the organization. They're very thrilled to have us kind of swing by. So make sure you show your face this week. It's a big week for lots of our veterans, as well as many of our students who are very close to or have family members who are veterans. A lot of times you don't know who those people are, so keep that in mind. And have a very, very happy Veterans Day tomorrow. What am I yield?
Any questions for President Bradley? Senator Marty?
Will the ride will there be a bus that would take us to Rock?
There is a shuttle every day that goes between the Whitewater campus and the Rock County campus. I can help you after find what times it'll arrive.
Okay.
I have a question. If folks want more information on the Wisconsin Student Basic Needs Coalition, how, like, is there an email you got or something like that?
You can have a conversation with me or send me an email.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for President Bradley? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our Vice President, Mr. Parker Bain. I believe he's off in WebEx land. Parker?
Hello, can y'all hear me all right?
Vice President Bain, we can hear you great. The floor is yours.
Excellent, thank you very much. Sorry I was unable to join you folks tonight. I'm off in Milwaukee with my younger birthday dinner with the family. But happy to be joining on virtually today. I'd highly encourage all of you to take a look at my agenda from last week. I want to do a special shout out to Senator Lang for all the hard work he put into the event with the WSG Lit collaboration. So thank you much for that. But as for this week, we have cabinet. I was able to attend SBEPC this morning. I had a meeting with Advisor Bilgin. I got a couple of one-on-ones I'll be facilitating. And finally, Parliamentarian Rayberg and I will be starting an outreach with several of the presidents and the WCC, looking to collaborate and start up a program for next semester. And with that, I'll yield to my report.
Any questions for Vice President Bain? Once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our WSG Advisor, Jan Bilgin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Not a whole lot to report. We'll be attending some of the meetings that President Bradley provided in our conversation with Vice President Boehm and I. If anyone is graduating who has not either talked to him or myself about a WSG stole, would encourage you to do that. If you know former WSG people that are graduating, let them know that that's something that's available to them. It's $25 if you want to buy it. If you want to rent it, you can give me a check, although I'm sure nobody probably have checkbooks, but figure out a way to give me a check and I will rip it in half. If you keep it and don't return it, or if you return it, you'll get your cash back. So it's just a way for us to kind of, recycle on what do you really do with the stole after you graduate. So I would encourage you to celebrate that. And I would just very much echo all the details today. I made copies of the schedule for Veterans Day and Veterans Week. This week they should be in the office on the desk that you can pick up at your office hour. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield to questions.
Any questions for our advisor? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the e-board reports. Starting with the report of our Director of Academic Affairs, Abby Bryce.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. So last week, I had a follow-up discussion with the UPIC regarding the graduate assistantship conversation and streamlining that process. We had the Academic Affairs Committee meeting, SUFAC hearings, and then I went to the program, the BLIT. And then this week, continuing the SUFAC hearings and deliberations, our 2-on-1 with Provost Fox is moved to next week. So we'll get that going next week. And then the discussion of WSG priorities with our e-board and chancellor training this Wednesday. With that, I yield to any questions.
Any questions for Director Riser? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we will move on to the report of our Associate Director of Student Affairs, Maddie Rosen.
Hello everyone, nothing too crazy last week, just kind of attended the Student Affairs Committee, attended a meeting with UHCS along with Director Smith, and I also attended the Jitters Lit event. Super good to get to know some of the senators I haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. This week I will be doing a one-on-one kind of intro meeting with Director Smith, and then the Student Affairs Committee, along with a few additional meetings as well.
Wonderful. Any questions for Director Rosen? Associate. Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our Director of Communications. Please, Lauren.
Good evening, y'all. So last week I met with my committee, did a presentation for the WSG and Lit collab that we had in Jitters, which was a lot of fun, and thank you all for anyone who attended that. Filmed a few TikToks with the executive board. This week I'm creating graphics for Director, oh my God, Orm Smith. I don't know why I did not put Smith down, but Director Smith. Meeting with my committee and then filming TikToks as well to post on our social media pages. Other than that, I yield to any questions.
Sounds good. Any questions for Director Limit? With that, we'll move on to the report of our RSGH chair, Andy Holmbeck, / President Brown.
I'd please encourage you to read all the reports the folks are not here, but especially Andy's. You'll see that I mentioned Rock Collegium. This is Thursday. You'll see in Andy's report that all WSG folks are invited to attend. There is a WebEx virtual option if you're unable to make it out to the campus. So if you're interested in that, you can either type in the link in the packet, or I can send it to you. So just let me know, okay?
Any questions for Chair Holmbeck? Once we're twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our WSG clerk, Sadie J.
Hey y'all. Last week I worked on sending out election result emails. If you did not get a seat and you're still interested in being in the Senate next year, well, this spring, you can always run for appointment if there are seats open. I worked on the website, and that's with Advisor Billigan, with Four Hawks Vote, Common Council, and then WSG/Lit. This week I'll be sending out, wrapping up election stuff. I'll be working on the website, Drive, e-board chancellor team meeting, and cabinet. And then just as a reminder, once again, please use the WSG email addresses when contacting e-board or Senate leadership, because all WSG communications may be subject to open and record requests. I keep getting a lot to my personal email, and I don't want to say I'm going to start ignoring them, but please send them to the clerk email instead. And then let me know if you need anything. That I yield.
Any questions for our clerk? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we'll move on to the report of our Senate parliamentarian, Monty Reber.
So last week I did SUPAC hearings and deliberations, and I met with Parker about the collaboration event. And then this week I have more SUPAC hearings and deliberations, but if anything is needed, or if you have a new idea for an outreach event or anything like that, just email me.
Any questions for our parliamentarian? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we're on to the report of our Deputy Speaker, Mr. Nick Patrides.
Hello everyone, happy Monday. Oh, I forgot it. Anyways, I've been very busy with SUFAC recently, last week and this week. So that's what I'm up to. But next week, we as a body, and I mean we as WSG, will be looking at SUFAC, if everything goes to plan. So it is imperative that you review those materials when they come out. I believe, in my completely unbiased opinion, I think it is the most important thing we do. Please look at that.
Any questions for our Deputy Speaker? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we're on to my report. So last week, did the WSG Lit event. Got to speak there. That was wonderful. There was some free pizza. I haven't been to Jitters in a while, so that was nice. I've popped in and out of SUFAC as an ex-officio member. It's great to see all of the strenuous hours y'all have spent. And I have spent both a little bit of last week, if you were to pop into the official WSG roster document, and we'll finish up tonight after I make this very important announcement, which is if you'd like to be on the new RAC committee, Records and Archives, please come and chat with me after this meeting, and we'll toss you on there. This week I've got cabinet. I'll be attending the e-board meeting with the chancellor discussing the priorities. So there's some Senate representation there. I've got Warhawk Dining Advisory Committee, and I'm going to do some prep before the SUFAC meeting next week, just so that when it's intros, all of that is as digestible as possible. Probably one of the most important things we do. Any questions? Going once, or twice, seeing none. With that, we are on to unfinished business, starting, there's nothing. So we're on to new business, and there's nothing, so we're on to announcements. We've got announcements. President Brown.
Give me a second here, pull up my little sheet here for my friends over the Student Veteran Alliance. Reminder, tomorrow is Veterans Day, 11 a.m. in the Hamilton Room. I highly encourage you going. It's always very well done. As I mentioned earlier, you do not realize how many students on our campus are veterans. So I really encourage you to go. It's always a great time. And I will be there if that gives you any incentive at all. With any further questions, there are sheets in the office for the week's festivities where you can ask me. I'll do my best to get them out there.
And Dr. Good.
I would just like to remind you all that World Kindness Day is the 13th, and there are things going on around campus and in the University Center. So there's World Kindness bingo cards, so you can play bingo and get a free bubbler. Post-it note message board. The Children's Center is putting up some great artwork that they made, and there are some paper chains that WSG is co-sponsoring in the WCC, as well as some things in the library, and UHCS is going to help you make your own first aid kit. The dining halls have affirmation cards and kindness cards and Nutri-Grain bars, and stuff outside the bookstore. So let's just say that lots of things are going on World Kindness Day on the 13th.
Deputy Speaker Patricius? Nothing from Deputy Speaker Patricius. President Bradley again?
Go Pack Go.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And what a timely statement, as we're getting out of here pretty early, so we're right on to adjournment. Senator Reyes?
Just remember this when we're here for something.
Seconded by Senator Giannetti. All the games. This is good stuff. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Opposed? Seeing none, I was dragging it on. We're out of here at 7:41. Records and archives. If you want a part of records and archives, come and chat with me.
If you want to have
I think I can do without.